Today we'll be ranking every single Saw film in the franchise, which is 9 of them. So we've got Saw, Saw 2, Saw 3, Saw 4, Saw 5, Saw 6, Saw 7, the final chapter, Jigsaw, and the new Spiral film that is out now in theaters. I'm going to rank every single one into my personal list. Remember, it's my opinion. This is how I like the films. But let me know in the comments below, what is your list? Smash it down below, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and let's jump into this ranking of the Saw films. Saw 3 comes in the final spot in number 9. Look, Saw 3 is part of the holy trilogy of 3, 4, 5 that all happen in the same time period. They all happen at the exact same time. So it gets pretty convoluted, and you can easily get mixed up to which one's which. And I would not fault anyone if they couldn't separate what the difference between 3, 4, and 5 were, because they all happen in the same time that it just meshes together and you kind of think it's one big movie. But nevertheless, 3 is personally my worst one in the Saw franchise. Why? Jeff, Mr. Slow Jeff. This guy takes fucking forever. He is so unlikable as a character. He is absolutely just takes his dawdling time. I've never seen someone take so much time in their whole entire life. People are dying in front of you, Jeff, and you're sitting there and you're taking 50 seconds out of the 60 seconds that you have to make up your mind of like, you know what? She's freezing to death. She is freezing to death. But you know what? I'm just gonna wait. I don't know if I should or not. But you know what? I've only got 10 seconds. I might as well try and save her now. Oh, I got the key. Oh wait, it's frozen shut. She's dead now. Really? I mean, come on, Jeff. Come on. He's an unlikable character. He takes forever. The traps are pretty decent. I like the ice trap. That's pretty cool. It's pretty hectic. That'd be pretty insane to be a part of. But I think the whole stuff with Amanda is a bit like, what? Really? And I think what the biggest problem is with number 3 as well is there's so many things that they allude to that you don't get the payoff until you hit like, 5, 6, and 7. So until then, that's when you finally get the big payoff of what actually is happening. This one, you don't get the payoff to what's happening, but Amanda in this film, I don't like her character in this film. I think it's like it regresses. Her character regresses, and it's down for me. John's still the best part of the Saw films. I love his ideology. Is that how you pronounce it? I love his like whole take on this whole thing that he's doing, what his motive is, why is he doing it, and it's pretty cool. And he remains to be the best part of the Saw films. The blood and gore is great, as it always is in the Saw film, but unfortunately for me, I'm just not really invested in the story of Jeff, and I don't like him as a character, so it was a bit hard for me to really care when shit was hitting the fan. So, number 9, Saw 3. Saw 7 comes in. This is the final chapter, Saw 3D also known as, and I tell you what, I mean, okay, I'm going to start off with let's start off with the positives of the final chapter. Okay, Bobby's story. I like the concept of Bobby lying about being in the Jigsaw and being tested. I like that concept of him having his, like, whole wealth built up on a lie. I like that concept. I think that is a great concept, and chuck him in there and actually get him to be tested and actually see what he's really made of. I really enjoyed that whole idea, but I don't think it was executed. Bobby as a character is not very likable either, and I kind of just think he's a bit of a wanker. Like, I mean, some of the traps in this are cool, and then there's some of them that I'm kind of sitting there like, right, interesting, but nevertheless. Look, so first off, when there's going to be spoilers in this, but you guys haven't seen it and you're probably not going to watch it. But anyway, when he's pulling the fish hook out and he just tells her, why wouldn't you shut up? I'm like, bro, sorry, she's got a fish hook in her stomach and you're pulling it out. Of course she's going to scream. What are you on about? that he couldn't even lift up the thing and take a little bit into his sides there and hold it. 5 seconds. He just needed 5 more seconds and she would have survived. His best friend. Why? I mean, this is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. Why did you decide to throw a key to a blind person who can't see and get them to catch it? What he should have done is get across to him, and if the time runs out, you grab him and you put him on your shoulders so that when he goes up, he still has support. Therefore, he doesn't actually kill himself. And then you hand him the key so he can unlock it. You don't throw it to him. I mean, there's so many things like this, and I feel sorry for his wife. I don't know why his wife was, like, spoiler alert, dies, because she gets cooked alive in one of the most brutal things I've ever seen in my life. Cooked alive. I don't know why she gets that, and that's a bit annoying because she did nothing wrong. She was deceived by his lies as well, and she pays the ultimate sacrifice. I didn't like that. The reveal of Dr. Connors, I thought was a cool reveal. I enjoyed that. The opening sequence, I mean, it is what it is. I think we're breaking up with you. So cheesy. But I think one of the biggest issues I have is the blood. The effects. It's pink. Why is the blood pink? And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, this is kind of annoying when you're getting cut open and that. And then when he's pulling his teeth out to get the code, there's so much blood. I don't ever recall someone having their teeth pulled out and like, you know, just got blood everywhere. I don't think that works. And it just, I don't know. There's some cool traps, but overall, I don't think it's one of the strongest. And yeah, so number 8, Saw 7, the final chapter. Jigsaw comes in at number 7. Look, this one is one of the, I don't know how I feel about Jigsaw. I don't know how I feel. It contradicts so much of the Saw franchise, and it creates more questions rather than answers. Now, if you guys have seen Jigsaw, this is like all over the place, timeline-wise. It really messes up the timeline. So, when you watch and you go through and you're watching this whole, like, game happening and things are starting to unfold at the present timeline, the game is actually not happening in the present. It's actually 10 years ago. It's happening 10 years ago. Which I just was like, what? Because the whole entire time when I'm watching this film, I was thinking, how are they getting the bodies from there to create? And then they reveal, the big reveal happens, and you're like, oh, okay, so that's why. But my biggest problem is, he was a part of the game 10 years ago, and he was working with John this whole entire time. Where the fuck was he during all the other Saw films? Why did Jigsaw, aka John, need Hoffman as his accomplice? Why did he need him when he had this guy? Where was he the whole entire time? Why did he tell Dr. Connors, if anything happens to Jill, you have to act immediately? Why wouldn't you ask this guy to do it? Like, it just makes no sense. Some of the traps, they're pretty cool. They're decent. But, I mean, I don't know how I feel about Jigsaw. I honestly don't know how I feel about Jigsaw. The whole twist and that, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, Jigsaw, number 7. Saw 5 comes in at number 6. Now, this one is an interesting one. Interesting, because we follow the detective as he's trying to figure out who is behind it, and he figures out it's Hoffman. And, I mean, I have issues with that. Like, he figures it out, Hoffman, pretty, like, standard. And I'm kind of like, well, there's no real clear-cut evidence to pin it on it. He's just looking at certain files and starting to piece things together. And I'm kind of sitting there like, right. I don't know how he's doing that. But he does. But, and then the game, we got to talk about the game. There's some pretty interesting ideas that I like about this, where you've got all of them there. They're strung up, and, you know, they've got to grab the key, and they've got to work together, basically. The whole thing is, you've got to work together, and they don't. They don't work together. They kill each other constantly. And but I think one of my biggest problems is, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, so many of these traps in this film are so avoidable. so avoidable. I'm sitting there and I'm like, look, that first one, all the keys fit the thing. You can get on top of the blade so you don't get decapitated. Simple as. The next one, which was... See, I'm trying to think. It's so convoluted, the three in the middle there, that you lose it. I'm pretty sure the next one is... Yes, the next one is smashing all the things and you got a key to open the... There's like little drain things that you can go into and you hide in there while the bombs explode so you don't get hurt. But yet there's enough room to fit 2 people in each one and there's 3 of them. And I said that straight away. I was like, do they know that there's enough room for 2 of them? So you could have got everyone in there, but no, they killed the dude, and then boom, that happens. They go to the next room. You're all supposed to take an electric shock so that you could open it and generate enough power to get in. And they killed another person, put her in there, and then you got to sacrifice 10 pints of blood. And you're supposed to be, everyone there is supposed to give up, 2 pints of blood or something like that. They end up soaring straight through his hand, and yeah, it's pretty brutal. But I think the best thing about this film is the end. The twist at the end where he puts Hoffman into the case and you're thinking, oh, okay, what's going to happen? And then you just see Hoffman smile and he just goes down and the walls come in. I think this is the only film to have the compacting walls come in and actually execute it. I know Star Wars did it, but it never actually executed it. This is the first time it's actually been executed to where someone dies. And it's a pretty cool epic scene, seeing the special effects, like the practical effects are so good in the Saw films. You see the bone come out. It's really, really cool. It's really, really cool. So, yeah, for me, Saw 5 comes in at number 6. Saw 4 comes in at number 5. This is the one where we follow the black cop. The SWAT guy. We're following him because he has this obsession with trying to save people, and he's looking for Detective Matthews, who is from the second one. Now, I quite enjoyed this film. I really did. I liked the story and how Jigsaw was trying to really push him to understand that you can't save everyone. And I thought it was a cool, epic way to do it. I loved the traps in this one. I thought it was great. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I like him as a character. I think that's one of the ones where I actually enjoy the main character and I'm rooting for this guy. I really am rooting for him the whole entire film. I'm like, come on, dude. You can do it. You can do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Now, this is happening at the same time as 3 does and 5. They all happen in the same time. So it's pretty convoluted. I'm trying to remember all the traps. But I think the way that it was set up was quite good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. This is where they start to realize things are happening. Who is the new Jigsaw? Who's his accomplished? Who's his accomplice? I can't even speak right now. But I did enjoy this one, and I just like the story behind it. The traps are cool. I mean, when the ice comes down and just fucking cracks Detective Matthews was absolutely insane. This is where we finally realize Hoffman is actually Jigsaw. This is the one where he gets the guy, puts him in the water and that, and you watch the detective, who we see later on, where he stabs the pen through so he can breathe. Hoffman thinks everyone's dead, and he's trying to act like the hero, and that's where it gets out, and that's the cliffhanger, basically, of the film. And yeah, I mean, what more can I say about it? It's bloody, it's gory, it's awesome, it's fun, it's entertaining. Number 5, Saw 4. Saw 2 comes in at number 4. This is the sequel of the first one, and I enjoyed this one as well. This was a different film. So 1 and 2 are probably the most unique films because they're not the same style. This is one where they get, well, it kind of is, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, what am I fucking talking about? Saw 2 comes in at number 4. Look, this is one where the Detective Matthews kid is in amongst the group with Amanda, with all these other guys and women, and they're chucked into a house and they got to work together to try and escape. And I think this one is quite entertaining. I like how you got an unstable guy who's just absolutely hell-bent on surviving at all costs. Doesn't matter if he has to kill anyone and stuff like that. I like the chemistry and dynamic between everyone in this film. It felt really, really good. I like the whole stuff with Jigsaw, John, and Detective Matthews, where they're sitting there and he's just asking. What I really, really like is how John does these things, and when you listen to the way he says it, he's literally giving them the answer on what to do in order to see a particular person or to survive. He literally tells the Detective Matthews, if you just sit here and talk to me for a couple of hours, you will see your son. And literally, that's what happens. And I really, really enjoyed the whole dialogue between him and Detective Matthews. I think John is one of the most interesting characters. He's just so cool. So cool. And I love that about it. I love the whole chemistry in the group, the way that things happen. It's absolutely psychotic. He throws Amanda into the needles when she puts her hands up in there and they get cut, they get stuck there. Just so much. I really, really enjoyed this film. So, number 4, Saw 2. Saw 6 comes in at number 3. I really enjoy this film as well. Why do I enjoy this film quite this much more than the other ones? Is because of the story and the way that each trap represents something. Now, this one is all about a health insurance company, and the guy who is like I don't know if he's like the vice president CEO or something like that, but he has developed a system and a formula to find loopholes to exploit certain things so that people don't have to get cover. And what really separates this from the other Saw films is when he's going through his test, it's designed in a way that absolutely rips his policy apart. So when he comes in to one particular one, he's got a choice. Does he save the elderly lady with the family who has problems throughout her health that are passed down throughout her family, or the young guy who doesn't have a family who's 100% fit and healthy? And his policy would tell him, she dies, he survives. That's how his policy works, and he's got to choose which one to do. So the whole entire time, he is learning and developing why his policy is wrong and what's wrong with it. And I think it's a really unique story and really unique with how the traps were made. The merry-go-round trap with the shotgun. I mean, yes, most of these traps you could find a way to get around. It's quite easy. But the big twist at the end was absolutely brilliant. I never saw that coming, and I thought that was great. Absolutely awesome. I really thoroughly enjoyed this. I just think the way that the traps were made to represent his policy and to really show him, and I think he was the only character that we see the whole entire time really start to question his policy and the things that he's done, and he's starting to learn and develop new feelings and new outlook on life, and I really enjoyed that about this film. So number 3, Saw 6. Spiral comes in at number 2. This is the new one, so I'm not going to give you guys any spoilers. I do have a review if you want to check it out. I love this film so much. I loved Chris Rock. I love the story about his character. I love his character. Actually, he's another one of the main characters that I really, really enjoy. I loved his story. The whole investigation part of this was brilliant. I really fell into that. I thought it was cool. The traps were great. Some of them were just downright, what am I supposed to do in those traps? Because I try to put myself in those situations. Obviously, it's going to be different when you're under that sort of pressure. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, I don't know. There's one particular trap where I'm like, I don't know what I would do. I honestly do not know what I would do. Because it's a really big decision. And I really like that. The twist was absolutely phenomenal. Never saw it coming. I really enjoyed it. I just really, really like this. If you want a bigger and more in-depth analysis of the film, check out my review. But number 2 is Spiral. Saw comes comes in at number 1, the original film. I adore this film, love this film. Why do I love this film? It's not the most bloody and gory film out of them all by any means, but psychologically, it is absolutely brilliant. I love the psychology behind this one. When Dr. Connors and Adam are trying to figure out certain things, and just the whole way it fucks with their mind the whole entire time, to the point where they get so desperate that Dr. Connors actually cuts off his foot. I just think it's incredible. I just love the whole concept, the backstory, the story about them. We understand more about John in this film as well. And I just really, really enjoy this film so much. And the twist at the end is incredible. Absolutely incredible. The twist is freaking phenomenal. And so, number 1 is the original Saw. So let me know in the comments below, what is your list? That is my list. I want to know all about your list. Let me know down in the comments below. I love the Saw franchise. It's fun, entertaining, bloody, gory. It's awesome. Cool practical effects. Except for the final chapter with the pink blood. But anyway, smash it down in the comments. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe. I'll see you guys next video. Peace out.